Hello there folks, welcome to another Train Sim World 2 video. The Horseshoe Curve for Train Sim World 2 is finally upon us today, and we are going to take an unbiased look at the route. I did not receive a free copy of this or an early look, so it is very much unbiased, and these are my opinions and my opinions alone, and this is definitely purchased out of pocket. First and foremost, this is, of course, Horseshoe Curve, Altoona to Johnstown by Skyhook Games, the same peeps that made Cane Creek. It's essentially about 40 route miles. You're going to get 18 miles of the South Fork branch to Windber, Pennsylvania. You're going to get a GE ES44ac, or Gevo. You're going to get an EMD GP38-2. Open top guns, TOFCs, coal guns, 3-bay covered hoppers, box cars, ballast hoppers, double stack, intermodal, tankers. And I think that's pretty much all of them. You're going to get some training in 8 scenarios as well as a 24-hour timetable. Now, I believe it's set in about 2019, and this is essentially the Norfolk Southern Pittsburgh line. So this is like a portion of that. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a very in-depth, or at least try to take a very in-depth look at the route overall and the engines and stock, of course. But we're going to start, like I always like to start, with the training modules. I want to see what they teach us, what they don't teach us. Then we're going to take a look at the route and the scenery and assets themselves, and then we're actually going to hop into the engines. So let's go ahead and click this and get started. Okay, normally it goes right into a training thing, so that's interesting. All right, here's the introduction. Let's go. All right, here it is.
Welcome to Train Sim World 2, an immersive and highly detailed rail simulation featuring authentic routes and trains from around the world.
Yeah, boy. This looking right here, this don't look half bad, this opening shot. Look up, look down, look side to side, yes. I still don't know why that's a thing, but okay. No, why would you invert that? That's just weird. I hear something coming.
This is one of the many interactives to be discovered, but not all of them will be as easy as this one.
Who dat? Look at those super colorful containers. It's like we're in Germany. All right.
A lot of time will be spent operating trains, so when ready, sit in the driver's seat.
Well, it is Train Sim World, and I see some PRR coaches back there. No, no, no. No, up, up. Abren la puerta. There we go. All right, peace and quiet.
The experience can be paused, so objectives can be reviewed. Try it and return when ready.
There we go.
A HUD has appeared on the right side of your screen.
No, it hasn't.
This is your guide to what the train is doing.
What's this guy talking about?
This is the speed display.
I don't have any of the HUD stuff on,
speed.
so
The red marker
I
indicates
like
the
to experience it
maximum permitted
HUDless. So you'll see nothing.
speed. This is the direction display. Arrows indicate forward, reverse, and neutral directions. This is the power display. A number will indicate the position the throttle is set at.
And this, of course, is on PC. This is not on console, which might be a good thing to mention.
These are the brake indicators. These show the states of the various brake systems. In the top right are the signal and speed limit displays. These provide an indication of what signals and speed limits are approaching,
Yeah.
and a countdown distance of when they'll come into effect.
Yep. I'm an eager beaver right now. Let's go.
Train Sim
Come on.
World 2 has a lot of camera views. Let's take a look now while exploring this train.
3, 1.
This
There we
is
go.
just the start. Horseshoe Curve has a lot more to enjoy.
Yeah!
Immerse yourself in modern American freight railroading as Norfolk Southern totes long trains
Norfolk.
over steep Allegheny Mountain grades. On Skyhook Games, Train Sim World 2,
Norfolk.
Horseshoe Curve. Along the way, don't forget to clean the whistle posts, move the tripods, pick up safety helmets, and place posters on the poster boards. Welcome to Horseshoe Curve.
Thank you. It's good to be here. All right. So that was kind of didn't really do anything there, huh? All right, let's see. Let's go back to the main menu. Let's see what else we got here. Let's take a look at the training. How long are these? 10, 10, 20. Yeah. We'll, you know what? I think I know what I'm doing. I don't think I need to do those. No, we'll do them. We'll do them. There could be something different, totally non-prototypical. We'll see what happens. Best to just get them done. Oh, that's a cool shot. I like that. Got some Dash 2s.
Welcome to Crescent. In this training module, we'll learn about operating the Norfolk Southern Electromotive GP38-2. The 16-cylinder, 2,000 horsepower, 4-axle BB GP38-2 has proven successful in many roles, from yard switching to mainline hauling.
Indeedly do.
It can lay claim to being one of North American railroading's most successful and versatile road switchers of the past 5
Dash 2s
decades.
are awesome. I love Dash 2s.
Almost all trains on the Horseshoe Curve route use lash-ups of multiple locomotives on the head end. We must set up the diesels accordingly as lead and trailing units.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Any trailing locomotive must have its control stand disabled so that it can receive commands from the lead unit.
Let's do it.
Units must also have their brakes set to cut out and trail.
Talk to me, Papa. What we doing? All right. Set that to trail 626. I can't. There we go. It's kind of a weird grab angle. It's like way off to the side there. Now, as far as looking at these things a little bit more in depth, I'm not going to do that right now. I just want to get through the training thing. There we go. Enter the leading cab indicated. All right, we'll go this way. We'll cross. Nope, nope. This is going bad. There we go. Huh. Whew.
This is our lead locomotive. In other words, the unit will be operating from.
Yeah.
We must thus switch on its controls.
All right. What are we looking at here? Engine room lights on. What we got up here? All right. Engine run. It's down here. Oh, this is the OG Sandpatch Gray GP38-2, if I'm not mistaken. So you can open these doors and panels, which is always kind of cool. Got to unlock both of them. There we go, or one of them. We'll just open both. There we go. Turn our flashlight on. All right, prime the engine for 5 segundos. Nope, not start. Oh, son of a biscuit. All right, let's try that again, shall we? Left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's fire this puppy. Let's go. All right, what will you have us do next, Master? Gin field on. Control and fuel pump on. we got up here? He's not talking anymore. Is that normal? So we're going to set this to run. Set this to cut in. Freight.
Our 2 units are now ready to operate.
Now he's talking.
Insert the reverser, set it forward, release the brakes, and apply some throttle. Then proceed to the destination marker and stop there.
All right, so I've got a rail driver plugged in, so I'm going to make sure this thing operates correctly with the rail driver. There's the handle. Throw forwards. Seems to work thus far. Auto brake to release. Independent full lap. Should already be there. Handbrake to released. It's up on the nose. Alright, we'll just leave it open. Some of the grab areas are very strange in this. Alright. Dim and gauge lights to on. Okay. Yeah.
The path to your destination has been set for you in this scenario. Please be aware that there are numerous manual switches on the Horseshoe Curve route, particularly in the yards and on the South Fork branch. And the engine crew must always ensure the switches ahead are aligned properly for their movements.
Yeah. Is it just me or do the gauge lights look different? Looks like they got a different color to them. Alright. Set the throttle to notch 4. Now, as some of you may know, the rail driver can be a bit finicky, so we're gonna try and do it. Release the Indy. Why on earth did we start in notch 4? Bit hot and heavy, eh? I'm hearing a lot of track noise, which is alright. Let's make sure we're lined up right. Okay, now I don't know. I've been trying to follow the development of this a bit. I know they got new sounds for the ES44ac, the Gevo Lucian. This thing sounds a little bit more throaty than I'm used to. Did they update sounds to this? I feel like it doesn't sound quite the same. Maybe it does. I mean, I love the Dash 2s very, very much, and the 645. But they have a distinct, very raspy, throaty, you know, exhausty type noise. This doesn't quite have that, but it does sound different. Maybe it's wishful thinking. I don't know. It sounds different though. Let's fire it up here for a minute. I don't know, man. And again, I'm trying to not get too deep into this with these little tutorials. I just want to get through the tutorials and then look at them. Because sometimes if you mess around with too much stuff in these tutorials, it can actually like break the session. There it is. We got an achievement! Alright. We sped. It gave us a silver. I'm totally cool with that, though. Alright. I like that shot. That's a cool shot. All right, let's see. Training. We'll do the ES44, and then we're just going to get all up in it. All up in it. Okay. The Gevolution. The Foamer's Golden Goose. Loud.
Welcome to Altoona. This is the famous Alto Works. In this training module, we'll learn about operating the Norfolk Southern General Electric ES44ac. The General Electric ES44ac 12-cylinder form
French fries.
generates 4,400 horsepower, is simply put, the dominant North American diesel locomotive of recent decades.
Dominant.
Almost all trains on the Horseshoe Curve route use lash-ups of multiple locomotives on the head end. We must set up the diesels accordingly, as lead and trailing units. Let's start by climbing aboard the trailing unit.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing I'm noticing right off the bat about the sound, they don't quite sound right. Where's the door? I was expecting it to be on the right side. Yeah, I mean, this is a Gevo 12-cylinder. That's, you know, that's what the prime mover's called. It's got a very, very distinct kind of raspy, guttural sound to it. These are supposed to be at idle, but they sound like they're in like a low notch almost or something.
Any trailing locomotive must have its control stand disabled so that it can receive commands from the lead unit.
Yarp.
The unit must also have their brakes set to cut out and trail.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it, House. So we're going to deactivate control stand toggles, and that's it. We're leaving? Okay.
This is our lead locomotive. In other words, the unit will be operating from. We must thus switch on its controls.
He said unit. Can I not close the back door?
Our locomotive controls are now active. Next, we need to set the brakes for lead and cut in, which we can do on any one of the two screens located on the control desks.
We'll go with the one on the right. Oh, it's making me go left. Come on. Alright, cut it in. Set it to lead. Save it. Good to go.
Our two units are now ready to operate. Insert the reverser, set it to forward, release the brakes, and apply some throttle. Then proceed to the destination marker and stop there.
Alright, reverser. In. Forward. Let's close that door. Auto brake off. Give her a notch.
The path to your destination has been set for you in this scenario. Please be aware that there are numerous manual switches on the Horseshoe Curve route, particularly in the yards and on the South Fork branch, and the engine crew must always ensure the switches ahead are aligned properly for their movements.
Let's go! Physics seem okay. Seemed a little too lurchy, but not bad. That's it. That is literally it. Man, there's not much to that. It's just really the IFDs you got to know, I guess, if you don't really know much about marking engines. All right, so that is the opening video, the two tutorials. I'm not going to worry about the other one. Apparently, it's got the brake thing where it just takes a very, very long time to release brakes. So you're just going to have to get used to that. But we're going to hop right into it. First, we're going to try and take a look at Altoona, PA, Railroad City. Alrighty, we are in Juniata, right outside of Altoona. If I'm not mistaken, I think Juniata is kind of its own domicile or town, but this is the famed Juniata shops for Norfolk Southern, built by the Pennsylvania Railroad. But just to preface a little bit more about the route itself, this is essentially Norfolk Southern's primary east to west route. The Amtrak Pennsylvanian also runs east and west daily, I think at least once. And this is essentially part of the Pittsburgh line. I think I mentioned a moment ago. But yeah, we're just going to take a look around here. It looks a little bare in the Juniata shops. This ground texture is very repetitive and noticeable. Now, I think this has changed over the years, so I'm not going to try and get super technical about this. I don't know that much about it anyway. But it looks a little funky. It looks like we're missing some tracks. It looks like they're kind of off kilter a bit. And I am noticing some of the terrain texture right off the bat is coming through on the turntable right away. So that's extremely noticeable and kind of not very cool. There are a couple of engines sitting here. Let's see. Let's count. This is just a random GP38 Juniata switching timetable run, by the way. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's our units right there. So we got a couple sitting here. We got a couple things in the yard. You know, it's not terribly bare, but it's a little bare. I mean, this area is fairly busy. This is like Norfolk Southern's main daemon, like I said, east to west. So it's typically very busy, but also, just in case you're not aware, Norfolk Southern as a whole is a Class 1 railroad in the United States and headquartered in Hotlanta, Georgia, running almost 20,000 miles of trackage all in 22 of the eastern states east of the mighty Mississippi. And is the largest intermodal network in the East as well, if I'm not mistaken. They were formed in 1982, merging with the Norfolk Western and the Southern Railway, so that's where you get Norfolk Southern. Worked out fairly well, names-wise. And is a major transporter of coal, intermodal, and auto parts. Now, the Altoona Works, or the Juniata shops as they're called, which is what we're over here looking at just to the right where we started, was once the largest railroad shop complex in the world. I don't know if it is any longer or even in the top 3, but it's located just outside Altoona, PA, built between 1850 and 1925 by the Pennsylvania Railroad, essentially supplying the railroad with locomotives, cars, and equipment. And things of that nature. And this place was built for the town. I mean, this place essentially started the town. Like, this was first, the town came second, if you will. But it's also nicknamed Mountain or Railroad City, Altoona, PA. And like I said, founded by the Pennsy Railroad in 1849 because of the site of the shop and maintenance complex. All right, enough blabbity-blabbing. Let's look around here. So there's some weird stuff going on with the terrain and the distance. A lot of the road and whatnot stuff looks bare back here. We got some floating buildings. Yeesh. This is the back side of the shoppies. Performance-wise, it actually seems to be doing okay. Now, this is going to be one of the more built-up areas, this and Johnstown. Johnstown may be built up a little bit more, being next to the river and a lot of steel mills and things of that nature. This back here is kind of bare, but it's like it's off the beaten path, like at the butt end of the route, so it's kind of understandable. if you will. But these, of course, are the shops, and they are massive. Very, very large. Large and in charge. So you'd essentially sweep around the side there, and then, you know, the turntable and all that is back yonder. This is the yard just outside here. It looks fairly decent, I guess, with some crap and whatnot laying around. It's very interesting how this tire got up here. I'd love to know how that happened. The parking spots are kind of weird. It's a bit too clean. I don't know that those would be there, or the paint would stick to, you know, the surface, being that it's such a highly trafficked area. But just right off the bat, just looking at the distance terrain and scenery and all that, it could look better. I mean, it's not terrible because, you know, we got things like sand patch grade, which kind of look essentially the same. But the thing about this area, and this kind of central Pennsylvania, or western Pennsylvania almost, it's very mountainous, but not, you know, not like Clinchfield where it's you know, really thick, spiny mountains. These are more gradual. There's more valley areas and things of that nature. So the scenery spreads out quite a ways. So that's, you know, that's kind of got to be a pain in the dingus, I guess, to model scenery-wise. But like I said, this is the butt end of the route. I'll go ahead and take a look at the map here. So this is where we're at. There's a pretty large yard up there as well. It's probably got nothing in it. And this is Altoona, PA. So let's go ahead and just track on down there. I'm kind of liking the rail cars, if I'm honest. Let's take a TO and just look at those real quick. I mean, of course, it's all Norfolk Southern for the most part, but the boxcar looks all right. Logos look legit. Weathered, scratches, paint missing. I don't know if the numbers and whatnot are going to be totally legit. You know, the fill texture looks okay, I guess. Some sort of rock hopper there. I believe that's from Penn Corridor, the San Fran-San Jose route. Got your 3-bay hoppers, some tankers. Those have been reused as well. Pretty much everything's been reused, if I am not mistaken, and just repainted. Even these gondolas here, I believe, are from sand patch grade. But they look okay visually. It kind of stinks having the same urban art, if you will, over and over on each car like that. But it's the thing about this is it's a nice mix of all kinds of different rolling stock. So when you've got a mixed train or stuff sitting around the yard, it looks okay compared to, say, a North American route that's only got like a few types of bits of rolling stock, if you will. But performance-wise, seems okay. It's hovering around 35-40 right now. I'm going to try and leave the counter up in the top right of the screen there. I've got very nominal specs, nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy, nothing too fast. I'd say mid-range or sub-mid-range PC. I do have the screen resolution bumped up to 200% and different INI settings. So the colors look a little bit different than they may look by default. I could probably use some tweakage to make it look a bit better, but overall, so this is set now. This is April. It doesn't look terrible. It does not look bad at all, really. Very green, spring. Things are growing back. The colors look okay for the most part so far. We are definitely going to take a look at winter and autumn or fall as well. And the ballast, it looks okay. It's got some patterning, but it's not the worst patterning I've seen in Train Simulator. So it's got a lot of different color variations in there, which kind of help the patterning a bit. It doesn't have that like checkerboard look, if you know what I mean, like some of the other routes. But it does have that funky thing where if you look at the ballast and then look at the bed in between the rail beds here, it just doesn't blend well. It looks kind of funky. And I guess it's somewhat realistic to the area. I always thought it was more of like a rust color in there, like a light stone and rust. But it's, at least they didn't go like straight gray or something like that, ton of railroad ties. That's nice to see. All kinds of maintenance stuff going on, which is nice. Of course, there would be in this area. This is a big complex and facility for Norfolk Southern. Of course, looks like we got some kind of little industry or something over here, which is nice. I wonder if there's stuff you could do there. Getting closer and closer into downtown Altoona. Bridge, some kind of poster there. All right, that is the Amtrak station right on the right here, this overpass and everything. This serves the Pennsy, Amtrak's Pennsylvanian. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, this is the Railroad Heritage Museum. Very cool. I'm trying to look in the distance here and see if I notice anything else. So this is the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania, essentially. It the whole Horseshoe Curve part, of course, which we will get to momentarily, is part of this. So I think you come here and you pay like $10 and you get a pass to go to the curve to ride the funicular, which is always a fun thing to say, or you can take the 7,000 steps up to the top. So this is part of the park at Horseshoe Curve, for those that may not be aware. This is all right. They put some of the older rolling stock in here. That's cool. I appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is things like that right there. How did they not notice this? This is an area that people are most definitely going to look at. That does not look great. I don't know if there's no way around that or something. If there's not, sorry. But there's even some of the ties kind of bleeding in right here, if you can see, from where another adjacent track would be placed. So it looks a bit funky. That's a shame. But this looks okay for the most part. Nice little railroad museum, all kinds of different cars, Pennsylvania Railroad cars as well. These are very unique and pretty much custom to, what was it, like the 30s, maybe early 40s, late 20s, 30s, early 40s. I think New Haven had cars like these, but they're unique cars. They look nice. Got this little tiny baby hopper here. What is that, like 30 ton? This old caboose. Look at that. That looks okay. Look at this weathering and rust on this son of a gun, man. That looks all right. The roof looks kind of funky, but that side looks reet. Nasty windows. That's pretty cool. I like that. Are there any markings on this thing here? I guess not. Big old boxcar here. Norfolk Southern Railroaders Memorial Museum, Altoona, PA. Horseshoe Curve, bridging the gap for 150 years. That's neat. So they got that. You got an old reefer here. So that's neat. Very cool. Very cool. So there used to be a tower around here. I believe it's called the Alto Tower. I don't know if it got demolished at some point or if it's still here or not. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it is on the right-hand side of the track somewhere through here. This, of course, is downtown Altoona. So say from about this vantage point is where you're going to see most things. This generally looks okay to me. That doesn't look great. Looks very nice. This platform looks pretty good. I like the brick and the concrete. Looks very well done. The ornate bridge as well and the handrails. It looks very nice. It's a bit bare over yonder. Yeah, station looks all right. Platform looks A-okay. Got the road going through here. Downtown. I'm not sure what the hell that is, to be honest. It's like a courthouse or something, I'm assuming. But it's pretty much what it looks like. This facility looks pretty good, though. I'm all right with this. Now, these two buildings here, like this, looks like the CIA headquarters. These are in like every route ever made, it seems like, except for maybe West Somerset. These right here look like a varied version of those. I don't know if those are new or what. But it's interesting. Let me see if I can somehow finagle my way up high here. Oh, they even put a parking garage up here. Okay. I see you. All right, cool. We'll keep going. That's about as high as I can get. Streets look okay, look a little dead. I'm not seeing any cars back there, traffic, but that could be due to resources, keeping the processing down and the memory usage and all that. Oh, no, that's a church. Is that a church? Yeah, that's a church. I think this is a big, like, Catholic town. Big Catholic, some kind of big Catholic deal here or something like that. I feel like I've heard once. It's like one of the important areas for the Catholic Church in the States or the East Coast or something like that. It's all right. Cool deal. Yeah, it looks okay through here. It does look okay. Some of that looks pretty bad. This is interesting, this parking lot with these trees and a little spray-painted grass. Hey, I'm guessing these are supposed to be like planters or something. It looks strange, though. Not a fan of that. Now, something else I'd like to touch on are these signals. In this era that we have got here, I think it's 2018, 2019, it's supposed to be. I don't think these color positions are here or are supposed to be here by this era. But some people like it because they are unique, to the line in this area. So, but I'm not sure the right era is there. But as far as the model, they look pretty good. The color looks pretty good, although it almost looks like a lemonade. But you can even see that old school glass in there. That looks pretty nice. The model itself looks all right. That's not too shabby. Oh, here's the Alto right here. I was thinking it was back there. Yep, so here's another old Pennsy tower. So that's cool. Very nice. It's a little low res. I don't think many of these are around anymore. They've all been torn down or being, planned to being torn down. But, all right. And then you go a few miles down this way, and that is the curve. Some more of the color position there, signals. This whole junction right here looks okay. If you're looking at the right angles, I just noticed this. It's kind of funktastic. Yeah, that's not very good. But you're not really going to be down there, are you? Maybe you are. I don't know. Keep on scooching. See how far it'll let us go here. So we are essentially headed like southwest right now. It's the direction we're going here. Looks a bit bare. It could be that shrubbery pop in. You can see that distant kind of park there. And now it looks bare as heck. And then you get close and it pops in. What do we got here? Speed birds. 30-25. Let's keep on trucking. Rocks. All right, rock outcroppings. These are very prominent along this line. Big time. Now, some people could argue till the cows come home because I've had this argument. They look very brownish reddish to me. Everything I've ever seen, they always look more of a gray. More grayish. But they, again, I could be colorblind and just don't know it. The assets themselves look okay. They look good. So it looks pretty nice through here. Zip up over that gantry. Nice little Fulmer road up here. Take some screenies. Very bare up here. Yeah, maybe not with that background. Good God almighty. That's a shame. I wish distant scenery like that could still get like 2D tree love or something. Just so it's not uber duper bare. Now that looks okay. So I'm seeing, it looks like some of those may be 3D. Yeah, it looks like maybe the close ones are 3D. And the ones on the top there are 2. But that looks nicely done. Well enough anyway. Got some ambient sound here. Some kind of plant. Again, a lot of rock outcropping. So this looks pretty good. I may not 1000% agree with the color or even know authentically the color because, well, I've never been here and I don't live here, obviously. So one of the very, very few grade crossings on this whole route. And in this bit of trackage. Anyway, let's see if they work. I hear a train coming. Yay! No, they don't. Okay. Again, I've stated before, I feel like the intermodal is way too colorful. It looks like unicorn diarrhea. It looks like a bowl of Fruit Loops. It's just way too colorful. Way too colorful. Alright, we're getting up into the mountains. No rear unit lights on. So this is a bit of a valley here that was built around. Again, that distant terrain, you know, I can imagine it's probably not easy to keep performance nominal, especially with consoles, especially with the old consoles. Like this looks okay, right? And that looks okay. But that distant, not so much. All right, one of the most important areas of the entire route, obviously, we are fast approaching the curve itself. I was thinking about trying to spawn here on foot, but I don't know. Here is Lake Altoona, and there's actually some funny stories behind where the name came from, Altoona. There are some theories that it came from Altona, because there's a city in Germany called Altona. German settlers, Dutch settlers in the region and all that stuff. There's theories about some Native American names and some other things. But I kind of like the German city, Altoona. I feel like it matches very well. But there's 3 or 4 theories on that. So this is like a whole lake and reservoir system down here, which essentially provides the city of Altoona its water. This through here looks okay. This looks okay. See, I was kind of bashing this in that article look video I recently did because you can't really see any trackside foliage. It looked very bare. This looks totally different. I don't know if they touched it up or if it's one of those things where the grass and stuff renders as you approach it. So it's hard to tell, but it looks okay. That distant mountain there looks okay. Okay. All right, we're getting there. Anyway, there's like a little chain system up here at the curve. So it's the Katanning Reservoir, I believe it's called, and then that leads down into Lake Altona, or I just said it wrong. Lake Altoona, which provides the city its agua. All right, they put asphalt down here. Round of applause for Skyhook. Okay, so this was a dirt road in all the pre-release photos. They went straight 1920 style, or they tried to. So here's the reservoir, Katanning Reservoir, I believe it's called, Katanning, something like that. This looks okay through here. That distant scenery doesn't look too great. And something else I'd like to point out right away, which I totally forgot earlier, is the sky. So this now uses the new skybox, which is way better. So I set this to like a 1/3 cloudy on the cloudy scale, and if this were the old Old school, it would look terrible. So this looks way, way better. That does help as well. The coloring back here looks pretty nice. I'm fairly impressed with this holler. You guys in PA call them hollers. This looks okay. Here it is. Here is American foamer heaven. Oh, yeah. This is the Railfan Park here. So here's a little GP9. They turned it right way around. So bravo to that. That's pretty cool. GG. So let's go over the Horseshoe Curve, shall we? Got a little bit on this. It's a 3-track curve, about 2,400 feet long. It was built and completed by the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1854 to reduce the westbound grade designed by engineer John Edgar Thomas. It is a U.S. National Historic Landmark and on the Registry of Historic Places in the U.S. The trackside park itself, a lot of people I think don't realize this. I didn't realize it until several months ago. This was built in the 1800s. This park here was built before the turn of the century. I think like 1870 something. And then of course rebuilt and renovated, if you will, and modernized to its current day, which it is, I think it's supposed to be 2019 right now, but it was updated in the 90s. It curves around the dam and the lake and the reservoir, which you can see there in the distance. And that, genuinely, I'm slightly impressed with that. I don't want to go ham and get too lovey-dovey here, but that looks okay. That distant mountain looks a bit pathetic, if I'm honest, but this little scene right here looks pretty good. Anyway, the westbound grade is about 1.85, if I'm not mistaken, for 12 miles from Altoona to Glitzen, which is just about where the summit is of this whole bit of trackage. And just beyond the tunnel is a 1.1% descent down into Johnstown. It's typically about 30 miles an hour through the curve here if your big old chungus humongous train can make that speed. And the passenger, the Amtrak Pennsylvanian, runs through here at about 40 average speeds. Like I said earlier, the Railroaders Memorial Museum runs this trackside park, and it's a part of that place we were in Altoona a moment ago. And it's got the little funicular thing, which is about 288 feet in height, which is kind of cool. So we'll take a look at that because I've been interested about that. So this is the funicular right here, and they're designed like old PRR coaches, which is really neat. And they got little details like that, so that's pretty cool. We've got 2 routes in Train Sim World now, back to back with funiculars. That's kind of cool. So the other one was by Rivet Games on that Swiss route, Lucerne-Circe. There's a castle heading north out of Lucerne that's got a little funicular like this that's modeled as well. So that's pretty neat. We've got 2 of those now. The park itself, from what I've seen, again, I've never been here. I'd love to go. Looks fairly legit. I'm sure, hardcore foamers and those that have been here will pick this apart and find little things like there's supposed to be bird crap right there. That's fine. It's grassy. That looks nice. Got the little benches. I believe these are these unique as well? I don't recall seeing these assets, or maybe these assets were already in the library that Dovetail and whoever uses, they just change the colors or something. But it's a nice little area. And of course, if you're super duper lucky, you can see 3 trains rounding this son of a gun at a time. So, this bad mamma jamma right here, which I am very, very saddened we didn't get, because it kind of makes sense. This isn't set in the 50s. This is set right about modern times now. Like I said, 2018, 2019. This is a high-nose GP9, which was freshly painted just last year as well. They raised enough funds and got it freshly painted. So what we're seeing before us is the pre-fresh paint version, or variant. So this is back when it was still kind of rusty and crusty. But this is an original GP9 delivered in 1955 to the Pennsy Railroad as number 7048, and it was among the first 50 Jeep 9 units ordered, if I'm not mistaken. And Pennsylvania Railroad, they have their own designations for locomotives and stuff like that. And they called these something funky like EFS17M. or something like that. And they generally have that like right about here, if I'm not mistaken, for the most part. I'm not seeing it on here. I don't know if it was actually painted on these. But they've got their own unique, you know, code, if you will. The model looks okay. I'm not sure where they got this. Did they, like, you know, pump it up with an air pump from, like, Train Sim Classic or something? I'm not really sure. I think there's a couple of static pieces of rolling stock in Train Sim Classic. It's, you know, it's a 2D, well, it's a 3D model, obviously, but it's not drivable. It's very bare bones, but it's here. You know, so I'll give them that. So that's pretty neat. So this is the Horseshoe Curve Park. This was added as well, which is the legit sign. This fella here is very cleverly. That is terrifying. All right, let's continue. This is legit. They got this right for the most part, which looks pretty cool. That P42 model right there looks funky as heck. That's very strange. But tells you what to look out for, facts and figures. I'm not sure that's supposed to be open, but I guess in case in the game, if you want to venture out here and climb the rocks like one of them crazy-ass mountain goats in Africa, you know, you can do that and get some nice shots up here. She's very cool. Little shack over here. This was some sort of like watchman's shack or something like that. I can't remember exactly what. It's not a tower. It's like a little guard shack or something. And of course the GP9 deal here as well, which is kind of cool. There used to be an old steamer that sat in the park, and then they renovated it, and then the GP9 got placed here. So that's down the park there. So that, again, that's the funicular. There is a staircase, which is this, which you would take if you don't ride the funicular. Now, it would be neat if that thing ran, but I'm not seeing it move. We're going to try to load in here on foot, because that'd be really neat. Is it pointless? Absolutely. But it'd be neat if it still worked, you know. But as far as the camera, it's not really letting me over here. So I can't see the front side of the bit of the museum, but it looks pretty good. It looks legit. Got some school buses here for a tour. I can't even remember what it's called. I've not been in school so long. What is it called when you hop on the bus? And field trip. That's it. Field trip. Got the canal running through here with what looks like liquefied pinto beans. So that's interesting. Now we can kind of scooch along here. There's the reservoir. They did get the road done, so bravo on that. All right, let's see if we can go ahead and scooch on up here. So that is the historic Horseshoe Curve. There's the rest of the canal. Everything's canaled because not only did they used to ship goods via canals, but this area is way super duper known for flooding. A lot of bad floods in these mountains in this part of the Alleghenies. Really terrible floods took place over the centuries. Let's keep on scooching up this way. This curve we're approaching on our right hand side is, I can't remember, it's Mick something. It's an Irish named curve. I think it's McGinley's curve, this bit right here. And you can tell we're climbing the grade. We're headed westbound now. Well, technically south, but then west. And then right up here on the right should be the famed MG Tower. Let's see. I feel like I remember seeing photos of it in there. Yep, there it is. There she be. There she be. Little area here. Little scene and stuff. Very cool. There it is, MG Tower. I think that's supposed to be demolished, maybe? But something that's a bit ridiculous about it. So you remember the Alto Tower in Altoona. If I'm not mistaken, I think that looks fairly similar. This is way too clean. This thing is in such a state of disrepair, or at least it was in the last year or so. This looks almost brand new. It should be a lot more ramshackle than this and shantified. But there you go. MG Tower for McGinley's. Obviously, the curve back yonder. And we're going to head up to almost the summit and the tunnels up here. This is like railfan foamers' heaven, this area. There are a ton of places to foam up here. Got another train. Coal train, baby. That would most likely be coming off the Manor Branch, PA, off that way, and goes to one of the biggest power plants in Pennsylvania to power the state. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. But quite a bit of coal comes through here as well. Maybe not as much as, say, back in like the, pre-2000. But it looks a little bit different through here. We're obviously higher in elevation. It looks okay. It looks so far so good through here. Now here is where the tracks split up. So it should kind of split to the left up here. Let's see. I'm trying to tink. I'm trying to have a tink here. Let's see, because I think Glitzen is next, and there's a couple of tunnels. Some are disused now. I'm not sure how far it's going to let me go. I promise we're going to get to the trains themselves in a minute, but I want to take a look at this route. This is one of my favorite things to do with not only this, but train some classic routes as well, because the route itself and the scenery is very important to me. And so I like to really take a look and see what's been done, what corners have been cut, what was missed, things of that nature. So there goes the higher side right there. This is the main line right here, if I'm not mistaken. So that over there is the new Portage Tunnel. Let's see if it lets us go over here. I believe this is the new Portage Tunnel. Yeah. And it looks like you can run through there as well. Got a little train bridge right here. Some stuff sitting back here. Rails and ties. That's nice. I always like seeing that. I mean, this place sees so many trains. This place sees like 50 trains a day. Maybe more. There were points in history where it was almost 100 trains a day. So this infrastructure gets worn out AF. So they're constantly replacing and updating and fixing stuff. So seeing all this kind of stuff is very, very nice. So good on them for that. Now this is the Allegheny Tunnel here. And it's interesting. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's just grassy right up here. I don't know about the trees. This is the older disused tunnel to the right here. I think it was that Glitzen tunnel. I get them mixed up. There's so many damn tunnels through here. Little bit of scenery foobar right there. I don't know if it's going to let me go through here or not. So it's walled off there. Track's obviously gone. So this is westbound. Is it going to let us go through the tunnel? Sweet. Wait, are we moving? I can't tell. Echo, echo, echo. Dude, are we moving? No, we're not moving. Okay, so that sucks. You can't go through the tunnel like that. Is it going to let me up and over? No! No! Is it really not going to let me look? That's a pain in the dingus. Come on, man. Let me at him. Let me at him. Yeah, so it essentially goes under a town right here. I can't remember the name of the town. So I guess we're going to have to take a scooch over west a bit and come this way and look. But we're definitely going to take a look at Glitzen and Crescent because those are two, fairly important areas for this bit of trackage. So we're going to hop there next. Okay, so it's kind of a good segue now that I think about it because I have now set it to autumn. So we are in November and there's a bit of color to the trees and ground. It's kind of difficult to see in this light. I may try to change the time of day here in a minute. This is a little branch out of Crescent right here. I think I think this is like the helper facility, or it's an R.J. Corman facility right here. I cannot remember which, but here's the Y. And then we're going to head up this way, if I'm not mistaken. All right. And we're going to head back to where the tunnel is and then kind of work our way back this way to... got a train coming there. Work our way to where we're kind of going back westbound. Mixed train. Pretty long. So yeah, the colors do look a little bit better. They look a little bit more muted, a little bit more natural. You know, not nuclear or just over the top, if you will. So, all right, we were last at the Glitzen and Allegheny Tunnel area. Gonna keep on going this way. That's a branch that heads north, going that way. Let's see. Oh, wait, hold up. No. That's the train we just passed. Yeah, okay, that's... We should have gone that way, actually. Yep, yippers. Oh, now I'm lost. Oh, now I'm lost. We're getting covered with bugs. Okay, here we go. Alright, let's see. This should lead us to Glitzen. We're kind of in Glitzen now. The skirts. Anyway. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, it's got to be where we're at. Yep, so there's the tunnel. Man, it's kind of hard to see. Sorry about the time of day. I just chose something that started in Crescent. Looks okay. Here's the other side of the tunnel. So this is what I was talking about earlier. There are not rocks up here. Yes, they're hard to see. Dang it. This probably looks pitch black. So there are rocks here. And there shouldn't be. It's just like a grassy knoll, if you will. And then that's the other side where we just got trapped a moment ago. So that's the Allegheny / Glitzen. We'll see if we can scooch over to the Portage side here, the Portage Tunnel. See if it'll let us yeet over here. Let me yeet. Let me yeet. Alright, we'll just go back this way. Because there is another tower down here, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a park. There's a little rail fan type area called Tunnel Hill Parks should be down here. Alright, this is the new Portage Tunnel, I believe. Let's see if the tower is down here. I believe it's called AR Tower. Here's the other side of the bridge. It's not really letting me get up over here too much. Yikes. Okay. Go back this way, I guess. Yeah, it's a bit hard to see. My apologies. I'm gonna change things here in a minute and definitely brighten it up some. Anyway, so that's the other side of the tunnels, Glitzen. Tracks coming together, another bridge. Maybe the tower's no longer there, I'm not sure, or they just didn't place it in. I didn't see it. Could have very well not been looking good enough. Towers were right on the side of the tracks, so 5 lines through this son of a gun through here. It's flattened out a bit. This is a kind of like it's almost like a higher plateau on the other side of the mountains, which is that way. A lot less sharp, if you will. All right, let's see where we're at. You know what? I'm gonna hop out. We're gonna change the time of day. Okay, much better. So we're back in the yard at Cresson, and you can actually see stuff now. Again, my apologies. The coloring foliage does look a bit better. It does look a bit better. The color itself is kind of funky, and I don't know if that's a game engine limitation or what. But it doesn't always look that great. Here's a very rare level crossing. So this is where we're currently at here, this little yard here. Like I said, I believe this is the helper facility. So helpers will tag on or untag themselves from the hind end of a train to help not only push down the curve and over the summit, but also used like reverse thrust, if you will, or dynamics, which is not reverse thrust at all. I shouldn't have said that. So that takes place here as well. This is the Y. It looks, you know, fairly decent up here, industrialized quite a bit. There's stuff everywhere. Here's a little park right here. It's got an old PRR caboose. That's nice. Got the little platform. Very cool. Very cool. Twins. This looks pretty neat. Okay. Okay, these guys look very suspect. Very suspect. Old PRR caboose. I don't remember the model name of these. It could be a bacon, lettuce, tomato 34 N5C. It looks good, though. The model looks good. They did look like this for the most part. The tracks look funky. The tracks look totally different. What's with the clips on the left side versus the right side? That's strange, but that's neat. That's neat. I love little stuff like that. It's like Sandpatch Grade and the Chessy Kitty cabooses. So we got our little park here. That's cool. That's nice to see. Little details. That certainly does help. All right, so we're going to head back north and northeast. Can hear little squirrels chittering in the undergrowth over there. So that's right here. That's some torn up trackage over there. Some dead lines right there. Probably used to be some sort of facility. This is weird. I don't know why that's there. I'm guessing it's there IRL. Don't really know. But yeah, it looks okay. You know, as far as like foliage, I don't think it really tops Sandpatch Grade, and I think nothing ever will as far as this type of North American terrain. But it looks okay for the most part. We've still got winter to look at, naturally. Rain, don't even care. I hate the way rain looks in this game, so I'm not even interested in that. But we'll definitely take a look at snow in winter. Winter is coming. So here's the split there. Alright, and this is what we were trying to look at earlier. We'll try and take a look again. Yeah, there should be a tower up here if I'm not mistaken. There should be 2 towers back here. There should be another one behind us where we just came from. Thing is, I don't remember if the AR tower is on this side or the twin track side. I would imagine the old twin. See if we can scooch over here again. Ah, dang it. Nice use of 2D trees back here. I'm totally cool with that. Just fill it in. You know, don't leave it bare. Like even that, the distant mountains there, that looks okay. That looks okay back there. Alright, let's scooch over to... Oh, that's so annoying. Alright, let's scooch over to the other side here. Wait a minute. This isn't the tower. No. That can't be it. Train! Empty coal train. Headed back to the west side. Empties east, empties west. Little gas station. Yeah, so this right here, there shouldn't be rocks up here. It's just grass. I don't know why they went with rocks, to be honest. But as far as the tunnels, they look okay. The tunnel wall there looks A-okay. Yeah, where's that tower? I'm just not seeing it. I may be completely blind. But also, one of the only other grade crossings is down here as well. I may have already passed it. Long boy. Longest. Very longest. Alright, so we were just about up here. You can still see some of the old school telegraph poles to the right there, so that's a nice touch. I don't know how many of those are left, especially nowadays. There's the yard facility back there. This looks okay through here. Those distant 2D trees. Bravo, you know? Bravo. Very much bravo. Much bravage. What on earth is that? Another church? I've never seen that in my life. What is that? Horse track? College? School for gifted youngsters? You know, from X-Men? I don't know. What is that? Oh, I lost the tracks. There we go. Alright. We're going to see how far it'll let us go. We're not going to go all the way to Johnstown. Because we'll kind of start in Johnstown and then come back, work our way back. But we're going to head on down the road here. It still looks okay though, foliage-wise. Like I'm kind of pleasantly surprised and shocked. I was always a bit worried about this once Skyhook Games announced it, seeing what happened with Cane Creek. And, the whole fact that, this is a very, very important piece of American railroading. This area, this region, this curve, this line, these mountains. So for them to have just kind of, half-assed it, if you will. Assed it, just made a new word. That wouldn't have been very cool, So I guess they kind of obviously went back and took the time to make it better. But crossings do not work, obviously. That train is way the hell down there. But this is one of the only legit grade level crossings. Not only on this bit of trackage, but this line as well through here. So that's interesting. You'll get to blow the horn once or twice if you're soup lucky. Here comes the train. Woo! It seems fairly busy, I guess. Now, mind you, I have hopped around a few timetabled things, so I don't know how busy each one, but you could always look at the map and see. Of course, you're not going to be able to see something coming through a portal, if you will. All right. So this is about as far as I think I'm going to go, roughly about here. It's pretty much no man's land until you get down to Johnstown, which is like a little bitty Pittsburgh, if you will. This is nice. They added these fences through here, through rockfall and stuff, so that's cool. That's all right. I'm glad I waited a second, so that's neat. But yeah, it's fairly remote through here, and it's kind of samey. It's not you know, it's not necessarily like this whole portion of the route, which is like the big popular area. And then it just kind of meanders, blah, 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 blah. This is that cutoff in the 18 miles of that one branch that you get, which I'm not really sure why that's a thing. And then this is Johnstown, right about Chow. And we're going to go hop in Johnstown. Okie doke. We are in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. We are on the farthest east. I can't speak right now. Maybe I need a Snickers or candy. Far west point of the route. This is one of the areas I was concerned with because when they initially showed the article and photos, it looked very, very unfinished. But anyway, tiny bit about Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Town settled in 1770s. And what I was talking about earlier, experienced 3 major floods leading to a lot of loss of life and property. And just things didn't go well for this town and this area back in the day. But the floods kind of led to populous decline. And there was even something I read once that said this was an area to least likely move to, or something like that. The most least likely area to move to for work or whatever in the whole U.S. or something like that. Anyway, I don't know how true that is. But the town essentially peaked industrially from steelworks around about World War II era, or there before, or there just after. And the Amtrak Pennsylvanian stops here as well. So, P42DC, wink wink, nudge nudge at some point. I doubt it, but we can dream. Alright. So this is Johnstown. We got a yard over there, some stuff chilling. I don't know if that's static or not. We're going to see how far back we can go here, because this is a very industrialized town. A lot of tracks. See some sort of big facility over there. It looks okay through here. The part I'm worried about is like this, the canal, or the river. The Kanama River. This is the Kanama River here, although it does not look like a river, does it? This was essentially built to control the flooding issues and, you know, things of that nature, and channel the energy into electricity and all that good stuff. So I kind of remember, I think some of their early article photos were in here, and some of you may remember as well, there was nothing down here. It was just like dirt, and it looked terrible. So they actually put the concrete down here, which looks fairly legit. That's how it looks. See how far it'll let us go here. That keeps on westbound yonder. See how far it'll let us go. This is the Johnstown Stone Bridge. Now, it had us, I started a service up there, right? And it had us start way up there, so I'm not sure how much you'll actually see down here. So we're about right there, if I'm not mistaken. This is the Connemal River. This is where it splits. So the main big chungus boy here, that's the Connemal River. The one that vents off to the left, that's the aptly named Little Connemal River. And then the regular big, we'll say Connemal River Senior, continues straight on there. But this is the stone bridge. Somewhat old, I guess, and a landmark of this area, if you will. A lot of scenery, doesn't look very complete back here. So it's interesting. I can't even go back there anymore, so I'm stuck. Another bridge up yonder. Now this through here looks okay. You know, again, the line side stuff, foliage and the tracks themselves, signage. And this is the Amtrak station. So sadly, there's no Amtrak logos anywhere. I don't get it. You know, if Dovetail can get the rights to put Amtrak stuff, why couldn't they? So yeah, I'm pretty sure Dovetail's used Amtrak stuff before, but it's pretty bare bones, little station. Now here's the little Connemal River. It starts to follow there, like a football stadium. Here's town. Used to be a lot of steel mills and steel works in this general vicinity. I'm not sure how many are still operable to this day. It looks like you can switch stuff back in there, but I'm not really sure how you get back in there. I guess you could technically through here. So let's see. Yeah, it's not letting me go over there. So that's Johnstown. Kind of stuck in a holler back here. It's got a distinct look to it with the river being you know, covered with the concrete. Looks like we're in LA, Los Angeles. Concrete river. It looks okay. Now, some of the scenery is questionable. Like, that looks kind of funky. Just spend a little more time and put more 2D trees. But for the most part, it looks okay. That over there doesn't look so hot, so I'm not sure if you're ever supposed to get back in there. That would be nice to do some kind of mill switching back in there, but it looks very, very bare. But this mountain ridge off to the left looks okay for the most part. I set it back to summer, by the way, so that's the season, the reason for the season we're currently in. Big automobile bridge and the tracks going underneath. Vehicle. Yeah, looks okay through here. A lot of maintenance stuff sitting on the wayside there. Johnstown plant. Okay. All right. I'll give it to them. Little logos and stuff. Okay. All right. I want to go over there and look, though, but it won't let me. Welding and fabrication. Do you even know how to weld, bro? This doesn't look too hot, but you're not really going to be seeing that, I guess, unless you're out taking pictures. Yeah. Looks okay. All right. I mean, I wouldn't say that, you know, and this kind of always happens with Train Sim World 2 routes. It doesn't seem to get the love that one end of the more populated or more popular region of the route gets. Obviously, Altoona and the curve itself. But it doesn't look terrible. No, sir. This looks okay through here. I kind of see what you did there, Skyhook, and good on you for that. They didn't go straight, you know, weird grass texture into water. You know, they did like almost like a muddy or rocky bank thing. So, okay. It looks a little better than just doing straight ground texture into water. For sure. All right, and it pretty much looks samey same. It follows the river for quite a ways, headed back eastbound now, which of course we are. But I'm not going to follow the whole thing for the sake of time, and we're going to go hop on that little branch line and see what there be to do over yonder. So that is essentially the Johnstown area. Oh, wait, hold on. What's this up here? We cross back over the river. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yikes. This looks okay through here. This high bridge up here. Let me up here. There we go. Nice. That's an old reused bridge asset. This thing is from like 2012 Train Sim or something, brought into Train Sim World. Yeah, so we're on this side of the river now. So yeah, all right, let's go check out that little branch line. Okay, so this is the South Fork branch. I think it's like 18 miles on top of the 40 that you get. So we're down yonder here. And I believe it runs out of a coal mine. There's a loader right here, as you can see. We'll scooch down there and take a look. Scenario, or sorry, not scenario. The service I loaded in is heading north up to the main line. Some old bit of trackage there, but it's quite twisty. I think it's fairly slow, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's single track throughout, except for a few spots there where it comes up just on the other side of Johnstown there. And I set it to winter, and hi-yi-yi-yi-yi. That is bright, man. Woo! It's like hurting my eyes. But, you know, again, that could be my INI settings, so I'll give it that. Some of the stuff looks okay. The trees aren't quite dead yet. They've still got that kind of autumn color in some of them, but yet some of them are white like snow. But it would appear the ballast and the tracks are not covered in snow at all. But yeah, look at the switch here. Definitely a coal train. That puppy's loaded too. We'll keep scooching on down this way here. Yeah, here's the loader. Alright, good deal. So you got that to do at least. So that's an extra thing, I guess. You know, instead of just running stuff A to B, east to west, west to east, if you will. Because that's, I feel like that's always part of the issue with a lot of these routes in Train Sim World is there's just not a lot to do, you know. It just seems like you're doing the same thing over and over, just at a different time. And that's kind of boring. So it's nice that it's actually got this coal facility looks pretty good. I mean, a lot of the assets are obviously reused. That looks new there, that pipe. You got the actual facility back there. That's definitely got a lot of reused assets, but it's laid out nicely. Like, that looks fairly good. It, you know, and it's in winter as well, so it very well will look different in summer. Got a random car sitting there, probably a bad order of some sort. Got some sort of reservoir their water needs. And it pretty much stops down here in the game. Yeah, so there's just nothing back there. Some weird floating terrain. We'll scooch on back up this way. Yeah, so this area looks okay. Again, you know, it's winter. It looks kind of weird. It may look a bit better when the trees are actually dead or shed of their leaves. But it looks okay. It looks kind of funny, you know, having color with the snow on there. It is just super bright. Man, those sounds, like, you know, we haven't even looked at the engines, and I promise we're getting there. We're going to look at them in just a moment, but I'm kind of at a loss with the engine sound. Like, I'm glad that they reached out to the community, and the community responded to help with the sounds, but they sound a little funky. They don't really sound like a GE chug to me. A GE's got a real distinct chug to it. You got a level crossing here, some bucks. The snow is weird. Don't think I'll be using snow. Another canal over here. Yikes. But anyway, and that's at idle. That sound we just passed and have passed like 20 times. There's an old disused line right there. Runs through this little town. So it's kind of cool. You know, a little branch line. It's totally different. Narrow, close in. Runs through this little town. A little bit of street running. Okay. All right. Okay. Another street. Okay. Another street. Okay. All right. Another one. Okay. Okay. Another one. Right. And this is definitely an incline here. Yay, yay, yay. That looks like about 2% there. Some of that thick milk. Oof. Wow. Now again, this is snow, winter, but wow. That looks really, really weird. This is a little line off that you can see down in the gully or the holler. Wow. Okay, so I got a little ahead of myself with that. Wow. Okay, I definitely want to peek back here in summer again. That is like crazy, crazy bear, weird looking. So yep, South Fork branch, it was added in, obviously. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's a twisty, curvy, single track for the most part. Looks like you hit a siding there in this scenario. Is that another loader? That was a dumper. Actually, got a train sitting up there. Fairly sizable yard there with some engines. So yeah, okay, let's take a look at the timetable and the scenario. Okie dokie. So, initially, I said 8 scenarios, and I thought there were 8 scenarios, but what they meant was 8 complete with training, I guess, and scenarios. So here are the scenarios. Coal train to Portage Mine. Bleebity-blee. Honk for camera. That's the one where you toot for the rail fans and other trains start tooting too, which is kind of cool. If I'm honest, it's kind of cool. Does wet coal burn? Nice title. Take a full coal train over the challenging gradients of South Fork Branch in heavy rain. Yikes. Johnstown to Crescent, mixed freight with an awkward reversing maneuver. Okay, that sounds interesting. It's GP38 as well. This is engineers calling sick. Wagons have been left all over, sorted all out. So, looks like 3 Jeeps and 2 Gevos. Okay. And we'll take a look at the timetable. So it looks like 77 services. Ugh. Alright, thank God the sound stopped. Alright, so you've got typical stuff, manifest, coal, intermodal, coal. Let's see, I'm trying to find some of the more, I guess you could call them unique ones like I just loaded in a minute. So here we go, South Fork, Baltimore South Fork, inbound empty, headed for the Rosebud mine. So that's where we were kind of just looking at. So that's neat. Okay. Let's see, ethanol. What is this here? Westbound grain as far as Crescent. So I guess that starts in Altoona. Yes, that's fairly short. 37 minutes. So it looks like it takes about an hour to get over the route itself. Hour and 20. Anyway. What's this here? Loading the coal. So that's down at the Rosebudski. Another Rosebudski. It's another South Fork mine run right there. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's A to B, B to A, and then some coal loading, empties and fulls and things of that nature. So let's look at the Jeep. Alright, and there's only a few. Man, I wish there was more. So let's see. E-Rail Manifest. Eastbound as far as Altoona. It might be interesting, taking an old 4-axle over the pass there. Or the summit. Ethanol. So that's Altoona to Crescent, Chicago to Allentown. That's the whole length there. Manifest, Juniata switching. Edgemore Conway Manifest, the whole deal. Hollidaysburg local. Collect some tank cars for a customer in Hollidaysburg. Okay, cool. So that's like a little local job. Okay, I would love to see more stuff like that. Right there. And another manifest and that. So really the only two interesting ones look to be the Juniata switching and the HI-10. Is that HI or HL? Alright, so anyway, we are going to hop in these things and see what's what. Rightio, so this is the GP38. Naturally, we're going to start with that first. I don't remember what I chose, but we're just going to run it, see how it feels, see how it sounds, see how it looks, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and I'm going to reset my rail driver here. Pop the reverser in. Throw it forwards. Throw all our switches on. Turn those to flash. On to bright. Step lights on, gauge lights on. Set that to lead. Get rid of that annoying air sound. Turn the light on. That's already set to run. Put our number boards on and let's see, we'll try and set this to banking. Does it have the banking com thing? Yeah, so it's that. So that's on. So this is different. I feel like this is new. None of those buttons work, sadly. Volume you can click, doesn't do squat. Push to talk, you can click it, but I don't know what the point is. It's our EOTD into train or Freddy. That's your in-cab signals up our. Set those to on. They were constantly flashing. Okay, interior-wise, they got the colors right for the most part. So the console looks fairly legit. A lot of it, I think, is going to be a straight copy pasta from the Sandpatch grade Jeepers. The in-cab signaling is definitely new. It's got the AC units, of course. Got our fuse box. So shift enter, you can turn the warning devices on. Like with Sandpatch grade, I believe there might be a switch as well. Maybe not. Okay. Alright, let's get outside and take a look at this bad boy. The lights are so bright. But I feel like the flare has been worked on. It's just still extremely bright. Tone it down. Tone it down a little bit. More yellowy, you know, golden orangey. For the most part, though, looks okay. Got some rubbed off paint on the footsteps. That's nice. Logo and numbers look legit. Got the striping right here on the front. The high ditch lights as well. Unique to Norfolk Southern, as well as the high headlights. That's their thing. So the GP38 essentially -2 was an EMD built and part of the -2 series. They had 2,000 horsepower, 61,000 pounds-force of starting tractive effort, and 54,000 pounds-force of continuous tractive effort. It had an EMD 16645E prime mover, and these were originally from Conrail, so I think not a lot of people are going to understand that. Norfolk Southern didn't order these. These weren't fresh to Norfolk Southern. These were originally built and owned by Conrail and other various railroads. The original numbers were from 8,163 to 8,281. And Conrail divvied their Jeeps up between CSX and Norfolk Southern. And they got a lot of other Jeeps. A lot of them, you know, got rebuilt, all kinds of crap. So these numbers are different. I don't know how accurate these numbers are. They did change them with updates and rebuilds and all that good stuff, but they look pretty good. I'm personally pleased with how they look. They're not jet black. You know, they don't look clean, freshly painted. They look good. They look nicely weathered. The color's nice. The logo's nice. You know, it looks okay. It looks okay. Let's see what this horn sounds like. Sounds okay. It sounds a little bit synthesized. But yeah, sounds okay for the most part. Alright, so we're going to leave it in idle. Loco brake on. Or, I'm sorry, we're going to leave the reverser in neutral. And power this thing up. Alright, the continuous air can stop at any time. That would be fantastic. Alright, let's power it up some more. I mean, like I said, I think it sounds different. It sounds okay. I don't think it quite sounds like the real deal. It's more guttural, IRL. That continuous air noise is very annoying and kind of getting on my nerves, if I'm completely honest. So yeah, that's the Dash 2. All right, we are in Crescent, and the last bit of the video, we're going to take a look at the Gevo Evolution. But first I'm going to back up because these things are hella loud in the game. So this is the Norfolk Southern specific ES44ac, part of General Electric's Evo, or Gevo series as they're called. They had 4,400 horsepower, 183,000 pounds, or pounds force, of starting tractive effort, and 166,000 pounds force of continuous tractive effort. They had a GE Gevo 12-cylinder power unit, or prime mover, and they essentially replaced the earlier AC 4400 CWs. Norfolk Southern units were essentially built to CSX specs with their own little nuances, such as the high-ad trucks and different headlights, which were of course higher ditch lights and headlights along the brow there instead of on the nose, if you will. They originally had 166 of these things, 166 original units, numbering 8,000 to 8,165, plus of course heritage units and other things, and they typically had a K5HL horn, which I have not heard yet. So let's take a look at her first. Turn the lights on. Well, I like them better than the Dash 2. They don't seem overly crazy like the Dash 2 lights, which is nice. But they're still way too white. Way too white. They obviously fixed the handrails from early articles, which people definitely noticed. And again, they look okay. The paint on these things are really nice. They weathered them very nicely. They're not jet black. You know, they actually have some color to them. Got the white brow, of course. All right, let's hear it. We're going to go right into it. It sounds like a spoiled K5HL. And the end of it is not good. I don't like the end of it. Very abrupt. It sounds like a totally separate sound file. That's a shame. I've been looking forward to that. Okay, let's listen to that E-bell. I think the bell sounds better than the horn, if I'm honest. Alright, so the interior, for the most part, looks legit. It's got the right colors. They're a bit flat. They could definitely use a bit more like saturation or depth. I don't know exactly what to call it technically. You know, it's got the right, you know, control stand and pedaling. Even though they, you know, they kind of changed these from engine to engine and rebuilds and things of that nature. PTC was not a thing yet, so I'm assuming that's why Skyhook chose this year. But it's still got the screen. Let's see if we can mess with anything here. No. Lame. Alright. Put your train orders there. But yeah, for the most part, it looks okay. Little fan switch for people that like random things that do absolutely nothing. Got your in-cab signaling up here as well. Shift-Enter should turn on the safety systems or warning devices. So there's that. You can actually see the alerter thing lit there. So that's Shift-Enter. I don't know how you do it on consoles. Sorry. Again, to cut in the air, gonna click that. Gonna cut it in. Gonna set it to lead. You're gonna save it. So it'll say cut in lead lead. And then you're gonna exit. And you should be good to go. These look pretty good. The handle looks pretty good. It's got that ribbed, nice look to it. The shape looks alright. It doesn't look too bad in here. The coloring looks okay on these little toggle switches. They got a nice amount of shine to them. They're fairly detailed. Look okay. Crosswalk lights, gauge lights. There we go. There we go. Now it's moody. Let's see what else. Can you do measured mile stuff? I don't know if you can or not. You can definitely go into the area there. There's your speed control for loading sand and things of that nature. Exit that. Yeah, control stand looks okay. We'll get the Indy all the way on. Release the automatic. Yeah, that horn is weird, but credit where credit's due. You know, if you look at the horn on the 4400 from Cane Creek they did, it's better than that, you know, I guess. So, there's that. bank and come on. That's your quick setup to get your trail or DPU units working. Got Big Brother up there watching. They didn't add these crew facing cameras until a couple years ago. They didn't always have them. Refrigerator. Keep that puppy on. Distributed power switch. Running lights. Number lights on. What we got down here? You can't open that. Cab dome, nose cab, and toilet. It says NS up there. Okay. I was expecting it not to have any stuff like that, seeing as how a lot of stuff normally doesn't in Train Sim World. It looks like the interior was definitely significantly overhauled. You know, the control stand especially. That's obvious. Point number one. Now, main question: can you get into the crapper? Oh, why will nobody model a toilet? Come on, guys. These Train Sim filmers want a toilet so bad, so bad. So that's a bit of a shame. I mean, hey, if Flight Simulator can model crap buckets, I think you guys can too. Alright, let's load this puppy up. Oh, I don't have the reverser in. Durr! So that's notch 2. Three. Four. Sorry, 5? We'll just do 5. Six. 7. 8. And a run by right. So first off, they're very loud. I feel like the sound mixing with these things versus everything else in this add-on don't really match up. They need to be dropped maybe like 20%, 25% or something like that. I'm not really sure how it works. I'll just go with 25%. The sound isn't great. When, you know, coming from someone that has definitely heard these things in the wild, you know, and used Searchlight simulation enhancement packs for years, and have grown accustomed to great sounding North American engines, and then you hear this, it's kind of hard to be pleased, if I'm honest. So I'll spin it like this. Is this better than what these engines would have sounded like by default without help from the community? Absolutely. 1000% they do sound better than what they would have sounded like by default had Skyhook / Dovetail had no help. But they don't quite sound there if you will. I mean, these things have a very guttural, raspy, distinct sound note to them that these kind of almost have, but it's like a really muddy version of like a, you know, like a washing machine on heavy, fast spin mode or something added to it. I don't really know how to describe it, but I was hoping it would have been a bit better. Like I said, I've been trying not to watch or listen to a lot of stuff, you know, previews for this route upcoming. But, you know, as it stands right now, overall, I think it's a decent add-on. I really do. The route looks fairly good. I'm surprised with the route very well. A lot of nice little details they added. There seems to be plenty to do playability-wise. The locomotives look great. They may not sound that great, but then again, like, Sherman Hill didn't either. There was an attempt with the SD70 Ace, but it didn't sound great either. These are, I'll say these are better prime mover sound-wise than Sherman Hill. I still feel like the horns on Sherman Hill were much better than these. It's a decent add-on. You know, I guess we're getting there with North American stuff for Train Sim World, or at least I hope anyway. I want stuff to be good. Of course I do. I don't want to just open a thing on Train Sim World and just dog it just to do it. You know, even though that's some people's shtick, it's not mine. I would very much like for this stuff to be good. I really, really would. But as it stands right now, you know, I think it's definitely worth a buy if you're into North American stuff. It's iconic. You know, if you're on PC, I know there will be a lot of great mods coming for this. I know there will. That's without question. If you're on console, don't really have much to say on that front. But yeah, I'd say just ballpark figure it's like a 7 out of 10. Just because the sounds are like almost there, but not quite. But I don't really want to spend much more time on this, because if you made it to the end of the video, as always, well done, and thank you and congratulations for watching more than 30 seconds of a YouTube video that most people do. You know, small time span and all, not really part of that. But again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it informative, and hopefully see you on the next one. I will be doing full runs, and we'll see what happens as far as safety systems and things of that nature, but I just wanted to kind of go over everything as a whole, the whole package, the whole shebang, and all that good stuff. But that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.